back to the Smite Pro League. It's week 4. We're moving over to North America.
What are you doing? The music was still playing.
Yeah, I know.
So rude.
Oh my god. Cog versus Cloud9. Adonis joined by DM Brandon, who has found a couple inches apparently.
I'm tall. I could see the whole world.
Is this the greatest day of your life?
It's up there.
You're finally taller
Get
than someone?
Up there. North America. We're going to be starting with Cognitive Gaming going up against Cloud9.
And Cloud9
roster changes.
Yes, both teams actually. Baskin now resides in the solo lane over Omega, who has left the team for Eager. Baskin so far little okay. Currently Cloud9 sits at 5th in North America, a 3-3 record. They've played the least number of games here, but they do have a doubleheader this week. They're playing today as well as tomorrow. They're going to have a competition. But right now this team is looking pretty solid.
You know, from what I saw, a big thing to me is that Baskin and Andy's chemistry is much better. The issue is if that chemistry doesn't start equating to wins, that chemistry is going to dwindle very quickly.
And North America right now is pretty contentious. I mean, with Team Solo Mid having a roster swap as well, and enemy sitting at the top, I mean, honestly, the 2 spot is anyone's.
Yeah, it's
in
like
North America.
AFK, and then like everyone except for Elevate, and then like Elevate.
Yeah, I mean, that's the North American power rankings right now.
It's actually pretty incredible. Enemy, the bottom seed from last season, is currently number 2.
Yeah, I mean, they've won 7 games already. Absurd right now.
It's actually kind of crazy.
It's awesome. Their opponents, though, going to be the new Cognitive Gaming, headed by djpernicus, TheBest, Cabom, Aror, and Meerkat once again making his return to the solo lane. So 4-member swap out for this roster.
I love this roster. I have been Meerkat's likely harshest critic over the past couple splits, and he is playing so much better lately. I'm excited to see him go up against Baskin Robbins here in the solo lane. I've always been a big fan of Cabom and Auror's gameplay as well. I love the duo, but they're going to go up against like the duo that won Worlds, right? This is BaRRa and Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, that hasn't changed. They're still going up against a
barely
powerhouse
reach the
lane.
desk. This is crazy.
It's nice for you, isn't it? You gonna lower yourself there?
Nope.
But
oh,
I do have to say that Cabom, it seems like he's been struggling in his lane a little bit, getting pretty out-pressured by some of the other North American hunters. We'll have to see if he can hold his own against BaRRaCCuDDa. It's going to be a tough task for him. I would like to see them actually look to put him on a pretty safe laner, Medusa, or I'd have to say Neath,
or
2 gods that he can play.
Bluestone Sun Wukong.
No, that's Europe.
Do it.
They did the Afro Wukong lane. That was disgusting. God. Titan, I can't believe you guys just get away with this stuff.
Get away with it. That's OP.
No, I know.
Wukong with Bluestone with Aphrodite healing him, and he's getting jealousy damage.
Paradigm just walked to that together like, oh man, we already know what's going to happen.
Something's going to happen.
Cog, they're going to be taking away Gav. So first ban, a target against JeffHindla right away.
I would imagine. Oh wow, no, Harry's going to be taken. Of course, Aurora has been slamming with this character. Khepri has got to be coming up next for Cloud9. I imagine Cognitive is looking to get their star player Aror his probably go-to, right? Khepri should be the go-to.
Here's the thing. If you're Cloud9 here, this is important for Cog, a very important ban, because right now I'd say Meerkat and Khepri are 2 very contentious picks, yes, and I love the decision by Cog. They ban out Meerkat knowing that if Cloud9 leaves both of them open, they only get one of them, as well as another pick that they're likely to focus. Bellona, another contentious pick as well. So we're likely to see Khepri or Bellona here in the first pick position, I would imagine. Kwang taken out.
Khepri makes it through. Cognitive does have option here. Bellona available as well.
Which is typically, if this is available, they almost always first pick Bellona, and I'm pretty sure Cloud9's baiting them into that. Yeah, it's going to be Khepri locked in. I imagine Bellona going to be picked up unless Baskin has something he wants to counter with in that lane.
Cloud9's option here, looking for 2. I could definitely see a Janus pickup here.
Janus is also very likely a very contentious pick between TheBest and MLC Stealth. A lot of these players just have very similar god pools, I'd say.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, especially in the mid, right? I mean, like, mages have a pretty large ebb and flow in terms of relevancy. Sun Wukong, of course, going to get locked in immediately. We just talked about the Bluestone Sun Wukong being extremely difficult. Will they take Bellona for jungle as well is the question.
I don't imagine so. That just really doesn't seem to be Andy's style. They could lock it in, though. They might focus on JeffHindla. I mean, there's just picks and bans right now is pretty open.
Andy
for
likes to be
Cloud9.
assassins. That's it, right? Andy likes to go in and kill people quickly, and we know that he loves Awilix. We know that he loves Thor. But wow, 2nd, 3rd technically pick Nua.
So Cloud9 not electing to go with the typical first pick, first ban options. They're going with the second tier gods.
Well,
But this,
no. Wukong is.
That's true. I mean,
Wukong
with Bluestone,
is the
he's no
toppest
longer
of top tier now. There's the Janus though.
Janus locked in. Will Meerkat take the Bologna into this lane? That's going to be real interesting for me because Baskin, he is basically, with that first pick Wukong, they're saying, we want this matchup. We want Wukong versus Bologna because Baskin has something up his sleeve. He feels like very confident in this lane matchup. It's going to be Thor, though, going to djpernicus.
This is curious to me. Usually DJ defaults to Ratatosker. Going right into Thor here, looking for the big ganks on New Eyes, I suppose.
You know what this is going to allow, though? You take a look. They drafted Khepri in the first pick position, and the glaring weakness on Khepri is that his initiation is basically nothing. It's like a worse version of Sobek.
See, I don't agree with that. I think that the ranged route is insane.
But that's it. That's not like him being in the front line. That's picking someone off. That's not jumping in and having a big Cataclysm, having a big Rathaterra,
or
and
having a
with
charge
the giant
prey.
AoEs.
Into Tail Whip. Sobek gets locked in. Healing reduction. Okay, they're looking for healing reduction. Not really sure why they picked this. Khepri technically doesn't heal. It's flat regeneration, similar to Chronos.
I imagine this is a counter pick that they've practiced against Team Solo Mid. I mean, these teams scrim.
Do we know which one wins? Is it Abduct or Charge Prey if they hit each other? Because Abduct is technically a cripple.
I mean, it's I'm pretty sure it's Sobek because it's actually a stun,
right,
and then a flip. So he's gonna stun out.
But it depends on the disjoint of the hitbox. Like Sobek hits with his.
I want
body.
to see. I just want them to meet in mid lane and just do it at the beginning.
Just
I don't think
find
they're
out.
gonna. I don't think they'll do it. They're both looking for the win. Bans coming through. Freya taken out by Cloud9. Apollo taken out by Cognitive Gaming. And BaRRaCCuDDa is going to be playing Xbalanque in the duo lane.
So Xbalanque and Sobek, not a lot of push potential there. Khepri already having a pretty good run. Could we see Medusa, Rama still available as well?
I mean, what if, going pretty far out here, Wukong's in the jungle with Bluestone, Sobek and Sol lane.
Stop.
I don't think it's going to happen. It could be there, though. Ram locked in for Cognitive Gaming. That's going to be going to Cabom, a very safe hunter.
Yes.
His wave clear may not be the best compared to the others, but he has his role.
Best is in mid lane. This is Cabom.
I said Cabom. Oh, no, then God, you're throwing me off, Brandon.
Bluestone Guan Yu, also not a joke, especially with the recent buffs that he got. Remember, can now fill up his Conviction passive with things like Tallow Assault, hitting gods very quick. Can he double his effective healing, on top of the fact that he lost 2 seconds off the cooldown of Warrior's Will and increased the slow, making him much more dangerous in teamfights than he used to be.
And that Conviction passive is just going to be stacked up consistently. We're going to see major heals coming through. And another thing is, it's another front liner for Cognitive Gaming, as well as this Thor. Khepri's going to be playing, I imagine, a peel-oriented game, as well as Rising Dawn. Damage reduction is huge. Once DJ goes in, once Meerkat goes in, that's going to be on them. It's not going to be used for damage almost in any amount of sense, and it's going to just allow the frontliners for Cog to keep diving. Awilix, the last god, that's going to be Andy's god.
Yeah, this is what I kind of expected, and you know, not a bad comp for it. Sobek has 2 knockups. Sun Wukong has a knockup, Awilix has a knockup, so there are definitely ways for them to set up that gravity surge, on top of the fact that Andy loves going into these semi-auto attack, almost bruiser-ish builds, you know, with things like Jotuns. You know, he's looking for half ability cast, half attack speed, and with that amazing, in fact, Zidane, can we just hover on the gravity surge here so we can see, I mean, the passive is insane. You're gaining up to 70% attack speed and 60 physical power, making it the strongest steroid in the game.
And that's significant, and we typically, that's the thing too, a lot of times we'll only see it used for the ultimate or for the pool more than anything,
right.
But activating that in a 1v1 situation when you're not expecting to get the ult,
yeah,
it's powerful, and it can really throw the opponent off guard more than anything when you just start chunking and auto attacks. I don't expect him to buy a crit item, but it's always possible. Late game, like last item, Deathbringer.
I certainly expect him to build a crit item. Andy has done it a lot. I'm definitely expecting by, I'd say 5th item, we're going to see a Rage or a Deathbringer.
Andy's the person who's like, man, 5th item. Well, I could build a defensive item and increase my survivability, or I could just build Deathbringer or Transcendence and one shot. Yeah, let's go with that.
By the way, djpernicus, perfect timing leaving the base there. 17 seconds is exactly where you want to be. Compared to Andy, who's going to opt away from getting any mana potions whatsoever. He's going to maximize his timing. 27 more seconds as a whole with that potion. So expect Andy to be looking for the rotations for a little bit later. djpernicus trying to sustain through the lane as much as possible.
It doesn't look like any team setting up for an invade. We do have some very offensive wards coming out from Cognitive Gaming, though. You can actually see Andinster going to be walking over one here right next to his blue buff. So Cognitive Gaming just trying to get some vision early on and figure out the start that Cloud9's electing to go.
You know, that was actually a misplay by Andy. He pops the potion perfectly, right? And then starts his auto attacks as he brings it back. But remember Awilix's passive. She only gains a small amount of time on that increased damage. With the way that he did it, he actually didn't gain the extra burst damage with the Feather Step, meaning he did less DPS on the buff overall and put them about a second behind.
So we're going to see Andy benched. Is that, is that what we're getting at?
Oh, man. But no, they still get their mid camps. He still gets the lane safely.
It traded out. The 1 second loss ended up not being anything too big.
I expected Thor's rotation to be a little bit quicker.
Yep.
Especially with Meerkat. I mean, you have Guan Yu, like one of the fastest clears in the game.
Right now, Cog, though, getting pressured at mid lane. Meanwhile, their duo lane, with that Khepri, Khepri's clear is actually very strong.
Especially if you throw the Rising Dawn properly to make sure that it hits your creeps as well as the enemy creeps.
Yep. The damage reduction. Not a lot of people think about that. I mean, at the highest levels of play, we're seeing it, but reducing the damage your creeps take is very important, especially before Cabom pops his Astral Arrows while he's trying to clear, significantly reducing that damage. Meerkat versus Baskin in this lane, and so far seems to be dead even.
See Best and Pernicus here, still looping up, left side. Aror, I thought he was going to go for the abduct there. I thought he was going for it.
The range is pretty small, as well as JeffHindla going to be able to dash out immediately afterwards. So far, with the Sobek lane, a Sobek Xbalanque, I expect them to be farming here. Another thing we don't talk about too much is Khepri's passive is actually very important in these ADC duels.
Oh, yeah.
In the dual lane.
15% of your health bar. I mean, granted, it's only going to really happen in the beginning. It's very hard to get that stacked up otherwise, but you can see Cabom should have taken damage there and instead took the damage from the shield. That time he took a little bit, but Jeff expended a lot of his kit to do it.
There's the abduct. Are we going to see the cripple come out from Cabom? They have minion pressure here, not electing to take the roll. He is low on mana, probably wasn't going to secure the kill. And JeffHindla does have a heal in his kit.
This keeps his lane alive, right? If he uses too much mana and doesn't get the kill, BaRRa's going to push him out. BaRRa's going to lock him behind his creeps using things like, you know, the poison darts, Rising Jaguar. So this gives him, you know, just a little bit of poke onto Jeff. It's going to make sure that they control the lane a little bit more and he doesn't go crazy for it. I think that was very smart by Cabom.
Andinster going to hit level 5. djpernicus hitting it as well. And Andinster taking a lot of poke from the best. Going to be forced to back here. Nothing on the map outside of back camps on the left-hand side. DJ, with those two players backing, is going to take this opportunity to be walking over to the left-hand side. Is he going to wait for... Okay, no. He was just checking. I almost thought he was going to wait for Stealth to come back into the lane before ganking him.
Clearing up the mid lane once again, djpernicus getting a lot of experience, already level 5. We're looking for that Thor rotation here. Remember, there is a 27-second difference on the red pot, so he wants to make his play as early as possible. If he plays the war of attrition, it's going to go to Andy. Remember, Thor having a much weaker late game.
This could be rough, but Rising Dawn going to lock BaRRaCCuDDa in place. There comes the snipe.
Wow.
Straight combo, and the best able to secure first blood. DJ thrown back under tower, hammer not available, and he's actually going to be slowed out, but there's the Khepri ult.
Look at this perfect use of it. Andy, though, turned it around. Nice kill onto Khepri, who stepped a little bit too far. MLC Stealth trying for something as well. Double stun, jumps in off of Suku. Trying to find a lot of damage here. Best one hit, and he will find it. Andy with the double, and they're going to try to turn this around. DJ finding a return kill, and then Stealth finding the 3 for 3.
Wow, that was just a huge back and forth. That extended engagement went so long. Both teams just outplaying each other, baiting, and djpernicus with that wall, basically allowing himself to pick up Andinster because it slowed him down enough that Andy took a little bit longer to lock down the best, and that allowed djpernicus's abilities to come back up and able to secure those kills.
At the end of it, I'm kind of thinking that that fight overall belonged to COG, given the fact that they wound up getting the first blood, on top of the fact that they didn't die on the side of their ADC, ensures that they have better timings for their stacking items. You see BaRRaCCuDDa still about 150 gold away, and he just got back. We're going to see Cabom head back now to finish up the Dev's gloves, making the lane a lot easier for him. Not to mention, he was already winning the push battle. Now he's going to win the stack battle as well.
Meerkat getting pressure here, knocked up, but a great turnaround. Meerkat here taking a ton of damage. There's the feather step, and Andinster's going to secure that one. Meerkat, he turned, trying to avoid it, just not in time.
You know, I mean, there really is an excuse in my eyes. I mean, you see Andy's Awilix walking at you, just get on the horse. Just get out of there. It's not worth any attempt to try to get out of there safely without using your ultimate. I mean, what is that horse going to do for you against Wukong? I mean, he's going to just jump away from you every time. You're not going to get the kill with it. The whole point of that ultimate for the first half of the game is to stop Andy from killing you. And if they're going to keep feeding Awilix at this stage of the game, it's going to start getting to a point where they can't control it anymore. Andy's at 4,100 gold. How is that even possible?
He was able to pick up 2 kills over in the dual lane, and that really snowballed because also able to pick up a couple more creeps there. And with that last kill, I mean, djpernicus is just going to be trying to catch up from here on. Best was able to secure the first blood, and that's really why we see DJ not that high up in contention.
You know, I'm still looking at Andy. You know, this is the player that, you know, when you think about Cloud9, this is the player that all the high-end analysts have always talked about. If the kid's on, the game is over, right? It's always been that way. It's the way it was at Worlds. And with that, you see he's coming back. He's always trying to gank the solo lane. He's locking Meerkat onto the tower. And Meerkat should only be thinking about, I don't want to die to Andy. I should be warding. I don't care about my items. I'll eventually get to endgame.
Pern, JeffHindla going to miss the pluck there, and
Good option, too, to throw the Mjolnirs when he did as opposed to earlier. If he threw it earlier, he would have got caught by BaRRa. Best in some trouble, though, but Khepri's there, so that'll wear out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and he locked in place by Rising Dawn there and just going to be jumping away. Best, though, taking half his life. That's the power of Featherstep with Boots 3. I mean, against these mages, against these squishy targets, you're almost half-lifing them if you can get the double auto attack into the flip, increasing its damage.
All right, so we're looking at Baskin once again. Hasn't had too much trouble. This is not really a counter matchup on either side. Both Guan and Wukong have pretty decent sustain, pretty decent damage, right? They can clear waves very efficiently. But Andy, of course, making the rotation over, put Meerkat a little bit behind. You see at level 8, probable level 9 after this wave, going up against a full level 10 Sun Wukong. Both have their boots finished. Wukong back into the base there. Steel Mail ready to go. Going to make things very hard for Guan.
Yeah, that's going to be a Mystical Mail online soon, and you can see he's going to have that online much sooner than Meerkat. Not only did Meerkat die in the lane, giving the gold lead, but he also had to invest into teleport too. That's another 600 gold he's behind for finishing that Mystical Mail off.
I was expecting, by the way, that Wukong was going to be going into Mark of the Vanguard.
Luck by Best, and Best is going to get pulled back. Andy not able to secure that gravity surge, though. DJ takes to the sky, and it looks like Cog's just trying to get out for now.
Oh, Jeff's going to do some decent damage. I don't know why Best turned around on that. djpernicus, though, with a good bait. Andy gets caught, and that's a lot of gold they just earned. Oh, the minions went to the wrong target. Stealth will get a stun, but not on the target that he wanted. Beautiful stun return coming out from Pernicus. Jeff trying to clear the path there, and he does very cleanly, able to get out with that charge prey.
Nice for one pick. djpernicus continuing to put pressure on this left-hand side. He's trying to shut down BaRRaCCuDDa. It's very evident.
No, that was a 1-for-0.
Did I say 1-for-1?
Yeah.
I meant 1-for-0.
That was a 1-for-0 right there. Cog, I mean, really, Best I thought was caught. He used his bees right in the beginning, forced to ult away, didn't take the portals. I mean, and then he took the JeffHindla damage, but at that point, djpernicus had just like completely ruined the fight for Cloud9 by jumping onto Andy, taking that 3-1 gold away too. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's I think what's the most important here is locking down Andinster, who you had already talked about, had put pressure on that dual lane, grabbed that double kill, and then secured a kill on a Meerkat in the solo lane. So shutting down him and evening that gold up and allowing yourself to put more pressure on the map, it's going to look good for him. Now the question is DJ going to continue to put pressure on this dual lane or look elsewhere across the map?
I mean, continuing to try to shut down BaRRaCCuDDa is probably not a bad idea. Cabom only has a small amount of gold over him right now. The war between the stacks isn't going as one-sidedly as I'd expected. Meerkat, trouble, Featherstep, he's waiting on it. He didn't get it.
No, one more hit and he's going to fall there, forced to be locked in place. Andinster finds his 4th kill, the 5th for Cloud9, and that all came down. I mean, Andy's so good at abusing players who use their ultimates or use their beads. You saw Meerkat in the mid lane here rotate to the fight, the last engagement we saw on the left-hand side, and his ult was forced out. Andinster takes a trip immediately to the solo lane once Meerkat's back there, locks him in place, and so far, it's a good look for Baskin to start making some plays and rotate to these mid-game team fights.
Yeah, Baskin's in a really good spot here. He has a lot of gold over Meerkat. He's a faster character outright, given the fact that 72 transformations will get him across the map in a heartbeat. Right? It all comes down to Meerkat's teleport usage. Can he force him to teleport back to lane and then rotate out using his teleport to get back after the rotation?
The question, but Wukong hasn't gone teleport, and he's not 100% invested to it yet.
That's true. I mean, things like Weakening Curse are still strong. Shell is amazing. Heavenly Agility is amazing. Blink, not really necessary.
No, not on Wukong at least.
Beads is always good.
There's a lot of options that I think are going to allow Baskin to open up. And now that he has this lane pressure, he's not forced into the teleport. The only reason he would go teleport is so he can be there for the fights if Meerkat starts utilizing it. But at the same time, he could split push and allow Cloud9 to just disengage the fight and bait Cog into situations that may not be favorable for them.
See, I see teleport for a Wukong less of I'm going to save my tower and more of I have another life bar in team fights. I mean, he's already impossible to kill, right? Okay, so update from production here. Cloud9 has used all of their pause time, I think it's 9 minutes, correct?
Oh, Andinster's not in the game.
And he's not back. No,
that is rough.
This game will continue a major power play for Cognitive, and unfortunately, it winds up on the person with, 80% of the kills and most of the gold on Cloud9.
Cloud9 here, there's a couple options, right? Either force the issue, but they're not far enough ahead to force the issue. When Eager forced the issue when they were up 5 kills to 4, they also had a gold lead. They had great combinations. They had Thor, Poseidon to really lock down targets. But right now, Cog has actually been the aggressors for the most part. It's been Cloud9 and Andinster reacting to Cog's aggression. This is going to be hard for C9. I mean, they can't really force the issue against a Thor Janus.
And it's not like they have a huge lead, right? It's less than 1,000 gold.
The game is dead even, and all sense of the word. Outside of Meerkat, everyone else is dead even. Meerkat's just trying to keep Baskin in line for now.
And with Andinster having the most gold and Pernicus having the lion's share of his teams as well, this puts Cognitive in a great spot. You know, the question is, will Cognitive, maybe even subconsciously feel for them and not make the hard ganks, or are they going to say, we need to beat Cloud9 and go to land and start rushing down, taking the power play?
If I'm Cog, I'm taking the power play. There's no reason not to. No matter how much you respect your opponent, you're playing to get to land.
This is your job. This is your. I mean,
you don't let your foot off the gas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in some situations where a player DCs, you want to get him back in.
Yeah, they're definitely not letting their foot off the gas. They go for the Gold Fury. JeffHindla trying to be forced away here. Pernicus over. They reset it. It's going to lose about 20%. And it looks like they're still going to go for it. They should be able to get this one.
Yeah, Cloud9 here. It looks like they're trying to play the defensive route and just try and hold out and hope Andinster can reconnect for now.
That was just not the god. Stealth, Nua is not the god, right? Minions are stupid. They don't do what you want them to do. Shining Metal doesn't do enough damage. Fog doesn't do enough damage. He didn't have any snipes. He didn't have a way to steal that, whereas someone like a Janus or a Ra, right? Or even an Opwash would have a chance to burn that thing down. And that's the unfortunate necessity of having this god that's in the meta right now, taking this flavor of the month, and then having one of your teammates DC. They give this one up, and Cognitive takes the lead.
Yeah, and Cognitive's likely to hold on to this lead, at least for a while. It's going to be up to Baskin, the only player with a sizable lead on his team, to make something of it here. Cognitive Gaming, they're going to take this mid tower for free. BaRRaCCuDDa's going to be backing, and all of Cog, they're moving into the jungle here. The attack speed's going to be spawning soon. That tower's up, and Cog, they're going to play the numbers game and just force Cloud9 into a rough spot. I mean, and that's going back to the Nua. Nua, not the thing to contest Gold Fury. Nua is also not the god to carry. She's great in team fights.
Yeah.
She can't 100-0 someone unless they mess up, unless they're sitting in your minions and allow you to
There's only 2 gods that are going to 100-0 on that team, and one of them is gone.
It's going to be up to, I mean, BaRRaCCuDDa getting late game and trying to carry, but Cog, they're not going to allow it.
You see this guy?
He's just zoning. He's going to wall them. Like, just waste their time, get some poke out, and that's another tier 1 tower on the left-hand side in favor of Cognitive Gaming.
And look at Best, min-maxing there, throwing the portal and immediately getting out before the tower even goes down. He knows the rotation's important, will not miss a single point of experience in mid. Very good play.
And Cog.
But all the while, Meerkat is back in the base, and his tower's taking damage.
I mean, he has to, right? He's getting forced out by the Wukong. He was
see the
down,
player damage, right?
He was down 900, and yeah, I mean, this blue stone Wukong has free poke onto the Guan Yu.
Right,
meanwhile, Guan Yu has to get in melee range trying to get the poke off.
It's a little bit farther than that. I think it's like 20 feet.
It's like a melee range plus 25%. It's not, maybe 50% if we're being, if I'm being generous. But I mean, Meerkat doesn't have to do anything. He just has to make sure that Baskin doesn't kill him.
That's
from now
true.
On. I mean, he just needs to have someone sit here and defend this tower in the right-hand side. That's all he has to do.
But there is a 2-level difference. Granted, he's very close to 14 already, so it's probably like a 1.3 level difference. But that can hurt. Oh, right lane. We're seeing Aror. using a lot here. Best is here as well. I don't know why they're investing so much into Wukong. I mean, they're not going to kill him.
It looks like they're just trying to take this tier 1 tower. I mean, it's a 4-man group up. This is what they did in the mid. This is what they did on the left-hand side.
This has been a very popular strategy, too.
Realizes he can't get there, and Cloud9 trying to respond. JeffHindla's rotated. Stealth has rotated, but, I mean, after losing the mid tower and the left-hand tower, it opens up the map for Cog. I mean, if Stealth tries to push in here, he has no safety net.
That's the second time that we've seen them group up and go for a tower, while djpernicus just stands in the jungle going, I'll stun you and hit you with double tap if you walk anywhere near them, right? 2 times in a row they've done this, and given the fact that the power play is still going strong for them, they're in a position to do that. They have a man up, and they're using it as a defensive measure while being offensive. It seems like they've almost practiced for this scenario, which is definitely something, I mean, you should do. I mean, eventually every team will be in this scenario.
Yeah, it's unfortunate in such a critical game when North America is so dispersed. I believe there's 4 teams all within 1 game of each other, from 4th place to 6th right now, or maybe even 7th. I'm not entirely sure. It's very close in North America. Both these teams have 3 wins. Now, Cog, they have 7 losses, but they've yet to take a set. Cog, they want to win a set here, and if they can win this first game, which seems very likely unless Andinster can come back, it's going to look good for them. And I mean, this game early on, this was not a Cloud9 game. While they were winning, it was such a slight lead. It was, for the most part, dead even outside of the solo lane. Right now, look at this player damage. I mean, Cog, they're not even taking fights. They're just taking the free gold across the map.
And that's what they should be doing, right? Just take and strip away everything that you can for as long as Andy's gone, until it gets to the point where you can win for free. djpernicus, level 13 right now. Even if Andy comes back, he's going to be really far in the hole. Should hit 14 here, if not getting very close. Yeah, there it is. That's going to put him level 2 Tectonic Rift, guaranteeing the double tap now. And then, of course, Gold Fury's coming up soon. Only about 40 seconds left, and you see the boys on Cog back to get ready for the fight.
Yeah, and Meerkat has his Mystical Mail online finally, so he's going to have a much safer time in this lane. But we do see Baskin, an item up on him. That's because Baskin has yet to invest in Teleport. I mean, right now, though, this is kind of when you want Teleport on Wukong when you're down a man.
Yeah, that's true. He needs to get across the map. Meerkat's winning this lane by sticking there as long as possible. And given the fact that he has the tower.
Baskin is huge. He is the biggest Cloud9 member right now, and Meerkat doesn't even have to fight him. He just has to make sure that Wukong doesn't go anywhere.
And look at this. You know, he builds into the Runeforge Hammer, meaning if Guan Yu rotates, he'll be able to mitigate more of his damage, djpernicus' damage, and Cabom's damage. Not really worried about Aror. So as long as he avoids the damage from Best, he's basically invincible.
Yeah, and that Mystical Mail going to be ticking here. It's going to be a rough look. So far, though, Cloud9 has held on. And I guess this is what they have to do for now. They don't want to force anything. They just need to try and make sure that Cog can't get huge leads. It's going to come down to BaRRaCCuDDa getting Deathbringer online. That's when the game's going to open up for them. And you actually might even see BaRRaCCuDDa elect to go Deathbringer over Rage. While DPS-wise, you look at the math, Rage is superior. When you're down a man, sometimes you just need to get lucky.
Right. I mean, it comes down to, yes, Rage is going to give you more damage over 20 hits, guaranteed. Guaranteed. All the math supports it. But when you have Deathbringer and you crit twice in a row, by accident, like, there's no contest. So they might look for the dice roll. Zayden, let's take a look at the graphs here as they attend to try to push into this Tier 2. 3,800 gold. I would have expected this to be higher.
I mean, you could see, though, they were down the 1,000, so it's been a 5,000 gold swing since Andinster disconnected. You can take a look. It looks like at about 11 minutes he fell there, and ever since, it's just been a slow incline. Cognitive Gaming, they're going to pressure this Tier 2, get it to under half. Meanwhile, DJ's just going to split push. I mean, they can't defend so many lanes. You can see Wukong even. Wukong finally picks up this teleport, but Meerkat's just going to pressure right lane. I mean, Cloud9, they can't defend every tower.
Right, they're forced into a position where they can't defend everything, and djpernicus is the one forcing it. You see him in mid lane, Meerkat's on right, and then they have a 3-on-3 in the left lane on a tower that's already crippled. Surprisingly, Aror doesn't push in there. Very surprised to see them not rush that down. djpernicus getting some decent damage in the mid lane, though. Right side, Meerkat does get pushed away as the speed buff respawns. Now, they're going for it again. I think they might have it here.
It's going to be close. I mean, there's no minions, but it doesn't matter. It's so hard for Cloud9 to fight into this. This is just, Cognitive Gaming is playing this perfectly, and it's rough, right? It sucks. It's a bad situation, but Cognitive Gaming, they are playing it exactly how they need to.
I mean,
that's Tier 2 on left.
Here's how the fan reaction works. Either they play it really well and they play the advantage, and then they get called jerks, or they don't play at the advantage. Cloud9 makes a comeback because they didn't push it hard enough, and then everyone calls Cloud9 gods. Like, this is a lose-lose situation for Cognitive from the fans' perspective, but as long as they take the win, they can at least gain something.
And look at this. They're already pressuring the Phoenix here. JeffHindla trying to defend. Cabom, beads are forced. Cabom's going to activate a steroid, miss a couple autos. JeffHindla still a little bit too tanky. He doesn't have that big of a lead, but look at this. They're continuing to just tick down these towers. Right-hand side, you can see Baskin rotating over, but Meerkat's got a full wave in that tower. I mean,
well, it's boost on Wukong, right? They make short work of that thing. Man, that thing
20 physical
fast.
Power on that bluestone. 40 on the boots, and then Mystical Mail OP.
Look, do you see this third item bluestone from Pernicus, by the way?
I love it. The math was actually broken down. I mean, 800 gold for the amount of damage you get for bluestone is so good. It's the hi-rez build, right?
Right.
You can always go Vanguard to get a little bit more tanky when you need 800 gold. Math-wise, there's no item that's going to break down to be worth that you can invest 800 and give you that amount of damage outside of bluestone.
Right. I mean, it's almost insane, especially on Thor, who's going to be able to activate 3 ticks of it, adding 90 damage right away.
Meerkat. Looks like they continue to put the pressure on. The tier 2 on right and mid already under half. You can see that tier 2 on right so low.
Man, I'm just
COG
praying
Gaming,
for Andy to get back here.
It doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm assuming he's having some internet issues for now. And COG Gaming, they're trying to play spoiler.
Brilliant analysis. I think he's having internet issue. Oh, I thought he just left to get snacks.
Dude, maybe he did. Maybe Andinster's just
Mommy,
like,
muffins, I'm out. But I mean, like I say this almost every cast that I'm doing for Cloud9. Andy is one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player to watch. His gank and his routes, the way that he chooses to rotate around the map has always been very inspirational to me as a person who, tries to get the maximum efficiency out of all movement. And Andy is the embodiment of that for players. Like, of course, there will always be human error, but he is as close to the margin as possible.
I don't know, man. He's falling down on my power rankings after this game.
That's
level 10 at 20 minutes? Come on,
Come on, it's honest.
Tier 2 going to be falling on right. Cognitive Gaming continue to just play the intelligent game here now. It looks like they're going to be trying to force Fire Giant as soon as they can. Kabom's going to be pulling it. Aror going to be playing defense. Best as well going to be putting some pressure onto mid lane, maybe drawing their attention. Baskin.
He's trying.
I almost want to see Cloud9 invest into a Hog 3.
No, they got it. They got it.
Yeah,
he had duck guarantees that he couldn't go in there. Pernicus took some damage from that, but, I mean, they're still in the power play. They have Fire Giant. They're 2 Gold Furies up. Almost every tower has been taken. Only 1 stands, and they still haven't traded one. Zaiden, before we get into this inevitable push here, why don't we take a look at the graphs?
8,200. It was 4,000.
Wait for it.
Like a couple minutes ago. Yeah, it's going to extend to 9,000, just under 10,000.
Yeah, that's harsh, man. That's a big lead, and you consider that Andy, like you said, level 10 coming back here. I mean, he's hitting them with the tickle attack at this point. If he gets back in.
And look at this, like Thor was sitting at 2,800 damage when Andinster DC'd, or like just under 3,000.
Yeah.
I mean, Cognitive Gaming are not fighting
at all. I mean, look at this. Meerkat 1K, BaRRaCCuDDa 1K. Like, no one is choosing to fight.
Andinster still has the second highest player damage in the game.
That's actually that's why I love him.
He DC'd 10 minutes ago.
That's why he's one of my favorite players. Like, he actually does. He's been gone for 10 minutes and he has second highest player damage. And there's a new Wa, right? Like, she can instantly hit everybody for like 1,000.
Cog.
If I was MLC Stealth, I would just do it now to make sure that I took second place.
It's like Assault, right? You spawn into Assault, you press 4 on new Wa.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just get the free damage. Make sure you're top. Right? It'll be up by the next time you want to fight. Maybe even buy Chronos Pendant so it's up faster.
You know
buy Chronos Pendant.
By the way, for everyone who never thought to do that wants to do it right now, if you use Nuaz 4 in Assault before buying items, it counts you as out of the base.
Oh yeah. No,
buy your items
buy
first.
your Chronos Pendant, buy your Meditation.
Yes,
if you want to go that. You don't really need it if you're going Chronos Pendant.
I mean, like,
you can never go wrong with Meditation.
Dude,
and Assault.
Hey, no, you said it.
In Assault.
Somebody quote it and please post it all over Twitter.
Oh, man.
If you like that joke, tweet us.
Hashtag blame Adonis. What a surprise. Wow. Never heard that one before. Cognitive Gaming.
Grouping up. Yes, yeah. They took another Gold Fury. They've spent their gold.
Even with Fire Giant, they're just playing so safe. This is now Cloud. This is when COG is going to force the issue. And
this is the I want to go to Worlds play. Right here. It's like, we're not going to make any mistakes. We are going to play the game as slowly and as cautiously as possible, and so long as Andy's gone, we have an advantage. We can take everything. It's brilliant.
And even then, they're still splitting the waves. They're still forcing Cloud9.
MLC Stealth just took about 65% of his health in a heartbeat. Mid-Phoenix gone. JeffHindla forced to dash away here. They'll go into left as they waste the darkness.
I mean, Cloud9 have to fight, right? Like, And he's obviously not coming back. You have to make a big play. 3-man stun coming out from Stealth here. djpernicus is going to be tanking Phoenix. Here comes the ult. Baskin, he's going deep. Cloud9, it looks like they want to fight. They've already wasted so many ultimates, but they're just going to back off here. Meanwhile, Cognitive Gaming, 5 ults available. Cloud9 just wasted 5, just trying to get them off the left Phoenix.
Even Andy used this ult there. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Jeff still has Lurking in the Waters, but I don't see it paying any dividends here. He moves forward. Now, Charge Prey is going to miss. Left Phoenix likely to fall here as Best throws some warning shots.
Crits are coming through here. Rom takes to the sky. Can he find BaRRaCCuDDa? No, he's looking for JeffHindla. djpernicus just trying to get out. Like you said, left Phoenix has fallen. Baskin, though, he's so tanky. But Khepri ult. Best secures Baskin. DJ, Khepri ult not even needed, able to escape that one.
If there was any god that you wouldn't want to fight in a 4v5,
it's
right?
like damage reduction, heal anyone. You don't have the burst potential. I mean, BaRRaCCuDDa doesn't have crit online yet. The crits are coming from Cabom. It's just, it's a rough 3-man stun there, under tower, 3-man root. I mean, and Cognitive Gaming continuing to pressure. Best actually diving super deep, locks down Stealth. This is over.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 down. They should be pushing in here. There should be no backing. They should be ending right now.
They're playing as safe as possible.
I mean, it's actually BaRRaCCuDDa with no damage and a Sobek. Like, that was a guaranteed win.
They also had damage reduction from Khepri.
Yeah, I mean, this will be way too poetic if Andy gets back and they wind up turning this around.
Okay. I would say that the SPL is scripted, if that happened. I would say that Brad Ware is just like writing out these no, it's probably Andy. Andy Sexton is writing out the storylines, and then we're having the teams just play them out, right?
He plays too much Life is Strange and he goes, we need more of this.
Right, the teams are like playing like 3 weeks in advance, and then Andy's like, okay, well, this is the true outcome. Now, let's do it like this. Let's have Andinster DC at level 10.
And guys, you can't fight. We need him to be like 2nd player damage for most of the game. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't do it.
I sure can.
I guess actually, yes,
Fire
you can.
Giant spawning in 20 seconds. Cog continuing to play the safe game. That's likely why they did push in. They didn't have Fire Giant. More than likely a win, but why even risk the crazy happening?
Do you
at
see
this
this?
point?
This is so smart. Best and Pernicus go to lanes to make sure the fire minions are pushed. That way, they have to defend. They're using their minions as wards to make sure that no one's coming. They are completely uncontested here. Let's see if they have the jukes.
Baskin actually just popped a red pod.
Guys, come on.
Base.
You're not even being contested, Pernicus. They're all, oh my god. That was so messy.
There's a great guide on how to tank Fire Giant on DM Brandon's YouTube, if you guys want to check it out.
That I literally made
YouTube.com/
the first day.
Is it DM Brandon?
Yes.
Okay. YouTube.com/DM Brandon. Cognitive Gaming likely to be the last push. 3 waves of fire minions coming through.
Oh my god.
There's the player damage coming from Stealth.
It didn't even get through the Khepri shield.
This is game. I mean, there's nothing to say here. JeffHindla just trying to live up.
No, man, this has not gone well. The shell was used late. Pernicus is already crippled. Baskin getting very low here. Going to be forced to ult soon. Khepri ultimate still available.
I mean, they still have Guan Yu heals, right? And Guan Yu is going to be able to keep them alive. He's got CDR online with the Jotun's Wrath. He
All
doesn't
ultimates
need
are
defense. Now the fire minions are starting to pour through. Chaos Titan has healed up so far. It's just been a poke fest. But this is just a delay of the inevitable until Andy respawns. And Cloud9 wipes Cognitive Gaming. This is the return.
I don't think so. Aror takes some damage, but it ducks Baskin once again. He gets picked off. A lion's share of the gold gets removed from the board with another death coming out.
Reconnect, Andy. 52 health. Not going to happen.
So Andy's going to get fined for not following the script.
Every single time. Andinster, it's not that hard, man. Follow the script.
You know,
You're supposed to connect in that last fight.
You know, congratulations, of course, to Cog. Yep. A win over Cloud9 is a win over Cloud9, albeit very tainted with Andinster DCing from the beginning. A little bit heartbreaking for the boys on C9 who have already had a lot more trouble than we've known them to have this split.
Yeah, they came into this game 3-3. They played the least number of games in North America. They have a doubleheader facing off tomorrow against Eager. This was kind of the thing where they needed to get rolling, really start to rise in the ranks, but instead, it looks like they're going to be falling. Cognitive Gaming taking game 1. They've yet to find or win a set. All their games have been ties, but they've taken out Eager, they've taken out TSM. Now is their time to see if they can actually take out another team once considered the top.
Well, do you think we're going to see a sub here? Do you think Andy's back in it?
I don't know. Production should be able to tell us here shortly. But Makey actually no longer on that team, so they don't have him to sub.
That's right.
Yeah, he was coach.
Very strange to me that they removed him.
Let's take a look at the Alpha Draft top performers, although, I mean...
Is that serious?
Wait, what? Andinster is 4? Okay, Meerkat, you are... Meerkat, bro. Meerkat. Come on, man. Come on, Meerkat. Come on, Meerkat. Andinster, number 4, Alpha Draft top performer, sitting at the top of the best, Cabom.
Andinster is the best
and number
player in
2,
the world.
I mean, you take a look, right? It's best at 20, and everyone else at 14. There was no kills. Cognitive Gaming, they played a perfect. I could hear production just busting out laughing nonstop.
Guys, is that? Are you for real?
That is an accurate Alpha Draft number. There were no kills, though. Cog played it perfectly. djpernicus led the charge, just zoning out those members. Heading into game 2, though, let's get into the picks and bans as soon as we can here in a minute. And really, I want to know, is Andinster playing? That's the big question.
Yeah, production, do you know if Andy has returned?